Hi, it's Lori from Love and Create, and today I'm going to show you how to make these super cute little mini rainbow diffusers. So you can hang them in your car or next to your computer, whatever it is. They're super simple. Even your kids can join on in the fun, and I hope you like it. All right, so we're ready to get started. For our project, we're going to need a strand of macrame rope. This is 3-strand 100% cotton macrame rope, 5mm, and it's cut to about 30 inches. We're going to cut it later. You're going to need your yarn colors of your choice, some hemp string for hanging. This is what we hang it either in your car or on your computer or whatever. A hot glue gun, a slicker brush to make the tassels at the end, some lava beads or something porous, some sort of porous bead. Sometimes a glass bead will work also, or I've seen cork beads. I'm going to just use a lava bead. You need to make sure the hole is wide enough in diameter to fit your string, and a nice sharp pair of scissors. Okay, the first step is to lay out your macrame cord or rope to the size that you want for your biggest strand. And I'm using this one as a reference because I want it kind of small. So keeping in count the tassels are part of that length. And then I'm just going to use that piece to use as my template. Lay the next piece inside, trim it. And this isn't your end all be all trim. You're going to be trimming later, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And lay that middle one in. And boom. This is just going to be a little mini 3-strand fiber rainbow. So after that, I'm going to choose what color I want to start with. I think I'm going to go with the peach on the outside. So I'm going to unravel that a bit. You want to have it loose while you're tying. Before we actually do that, you need your hemp string. So you want to cut a length. It's about 18 inches long, and you're going to do a lark's head knot over the center of your biggest arch. So what I do is fold that arch in half. This part's a tiny bit tricky, but you can manipulate the lark's head knot. So you're going to fold it in half, bend it over, and then put those remaining strands up in through the center little space that you created. You could also just tie a knot to it, but this makes it nice and neat. So I double check that I'm in the center, and then I pull it super tight. I don't want that to move, so I'm going to actually wrap around that, making sure that the strands stay out, again, because that's going to be my hanger. And then from there, I'm going to take my first color, make a simple knot so that the tail comes to the inside of my arch. So I'm going to be wrapping around that tail, just one single knot. And I want to arrange it so that I have enough tassel space at the end, or fringe, I guess. Go ahead and cut off the tail so it's about 1 inch long, so you don't have too much to wrap around. Hold that tail down with your fingers, and then simply wrap the yarn around your macrame rope. You want to do it kind of even pressure, so you don't want to do it super tight and you don't want to do it loose either, but you want to be able to wrap it nicely around, and then you'll end up kind of squishing it down together so that it covers all of the rope. And then just continue that process for the whole arch. once you get down towards the bottom, you want to keep wrapping. I know I'm towards the end, so I just cut that off to make it easier, and I want to keep checking to see that that hemp string is at the center of my arch. So I kind of fold it in half and check, and it looks like I need to keep going just a little bit. So I'll keep wrapping. I can scoot up one side, but regardless, I'm just trying to make sure that little end piece is at the center. So once I play around with it and see how you can kind of manipulate and scoot things up or down as needed. So I'm going to wrap just a couple times around. And then when I feel like I'm done and look like I'm done, I'm going to make sure I have it cut off and wrap it around my 2 fingers and then back down inside that loop to create a knot for my final little knot here. This is going to end up tying to the other arch next to it, so it doesn't have to be super, super tight and secure. But that's it. That's your first arch. And all you're going to do is repeat that process on the next 2. So I'm going to go ahead and speed that process up. So from here we're going to combine all the pieces together. You want to make sure all of your tails are on the same side. You've got your hot glue gun ready to go. There's also the option to stitch it if you'd prefer that method. You can see that on my full-size rainbow video. You're just going to place a thin layer of hot glue in between each arch, keeping in mind that what you want to keep that rainbow shape while you're gluing. Whatever shape you glue it in is the shape it will be. So if you glue it straight and flat on your work surface, you will have a straight flat rainbow. So we want to have a nice rainbow arch. So keep working in little increments. I go about a half to a third of the way each time with my hot glue gun, kind of depending on how hot your hot glue actually is. So if it's pretty hot one, like mine is, a high temp, you can work in kind of bigger sections. You're just going to repeat that process for both arches, or all 3 arches. So once you're all finished, you're going to admire your work, and then you're going to tie neighbor to neighbor together. So you want to make sure, take a look at the front side and the back side and see which side looks better, and choose that to be your back, and that's where the knots are going to be, your back side. So I'm going to tie my peach to my teal in a nice tight double knot. This is going to secure those ends so they don't unravel. And then I'm going to secure, oops, I'm going to go with my teal to my light pink, my dusty rose, and give that a nice double knot. If you'd prefer, you can always stick a little dab of hot glue on there instead of the knots, but I like this method. And then you're going to just trim off the tails nice and short so nothing hangs down. All right, so get rid of those. And then I just gave it a quick trim to make sure that I don't have to unravel any more than I need to. And then I'm going to just unravel my 3-strand rope. And from there, you're going to grab your slicker brush and just brush out the edges. If you have carpet, you could do this on there. I'm holding it up so I don't scratch the ground, but you don't have to do it quite too much. You can also just use a comb, really fine comb, and it will fringe it out too, since it's not very much fringe down there. And once you like the way it looks, you're going to go ahead and just give it a little trim, and then you'll be almost done. So all that's left to do is attach the lava bead to your hemp string. So I take my really sharp scissors and cut that one of the strands of string at a sharp angle. It makes it easier to thread it through that lava bead. But if your lava bead has a pretty wide hole, then you don't need that extra little trim. And then I'm just going to put it on one string and then tie the other string right around that, nice and tight in a single or double knot. And there you have it.